Well, and I think and I fear that we're going to replicate these exact same challenges if we start talking about AI, particularly the agentic AI, which is why I'm so critical of the builder approaches to this. This leads into the next topic, and this is another study, this one by Pew Research, that is saying that only 12% of employees have had training in AI. And I was struck by this study for two reasons, right? The
Mhm.
first is that that's a very low number, but secondly, it's a low number in part because I feel like they're asking the wrong question. And what I mean by that is if I think about this, so let me go back to where I started, right? Why I'm so challenged with the Salesforce or ServiceNow's approach to this agentic builder technology is that it starts with the preposition that our employees have the capability and the desire to spend their time building AI agents. And
Mhm.
if that's what we're trying to do, then we absolutely need to train them. But the real question is, I mean, I think back to the days of Chef. Remember Chef? Chef and all their recipes, and how the minute anyone
Mhm.
got 5 minutes into the implementation, started realizing what a disaster it was to try to manage all of that, right? Because it became the same problem with the RPA vendors, right? We get down that road, it sounds really great, and when a single use case, you start deploying it across 1,000 use cases, and it's like you got this explosion of a management issue. And we're already seeing, ironically enough, like ServiceNow's coming to market saying you're going to have to solve this problem, right? So we're going to help you manage that. And it's just like, so I found myself when I was reading this particular study from Pew, it's like, why are you going down this road? What is the skill set that I need an employee to have? Do I need them to understand how AI works? Do I need to understand for them to understand how to build an AI agent? And I think the answer should be, I think for me, the answer should be no. That isn't what I want. I want them to understand how to use AI and apply it in their job to get results that make them wildly productive, or that somehow transform the way they work, or to help them identify how they can transform the way they work. But it's sort of like, I remember talking to people, this was just a few years ago, where it's like, where this idea that every employee had to be a technologist, it's like, no, I don't want them to be coders. That's just the complete backwards way of looking at
Right.
this.
Mhm.
I want them to understand enough to ask the hard questions and to figure out how to apply it. And I feel like we're going down the same road with AI, that within the enterprise anyway, that we're just looking at it wrong.
Yeah, it's the same problem that we've had with data analysts. That back in the day, Tableau wanted to turn everybody into a data analyst, and they did a lot of evangelization. They taught a ton of people, probably millions of people have learned how to use Tableau. But at the end of the day, still only about 25% of employees have data analyst skills, and the other 75% do not want to be data analysts. Even fewer people want to be developers than want to be data analysts. And so this is always going to be a problem. And I feel like the other problem with AI agents right now is that it requires a certain amount of creativity about your job, both to say, here's the 50% of work that I don't want to ever do again, as well as here's maybe the 20% of the work that is high value and that I want to do more of. And figure out, how do I reimagine my job to be more agentic? That's a creativity issue. And in some cases, there are unfortunately jobs where 100% of the work is scut work, and those people have zero reason to try to agentify their job.
Yeah, well, and I think one of the things, and this is another article we didn't bring into our thing, so we could have had even longer. But it talked about the fact that one of the challenges is that we need to be looking at AI about more than just productivity, but about this reimagining of how we function all together. And to your point, that's not going to happen at an individual employee level, and you have to get this bigger picture. So it was.
Mhm.
I think there's to me two big takeaways from this particular Pew research. One is that we absolutely need to be investing in our employees. We need to. The more staggering number was 49% of employees had zero training. It's like, okay, way to
Mhm.
invest in our employees, companies. But we need to be training our employees. We need to be investing in them. But we need to be doing it very intensely. Honestly, it's the same story about the rest of this. It's like we need to look at all of this, our entire estate, whether that's our workflows, our data flows, our workloads, our work uh, and I've lost the other one. Yeah, workflows and workloads, and our employees, and look at all of this holistically and make sure that we are investing in the right ways and the right things, and in a way that's going to actually move us forward. And yes, that's a lot more work. It's not cookie cutter. You can't go and just take whatever a vendor is selling you and say plug it in and here we go. But the net result of that is you end up with a much better compelling solution. And